What is good with it, y'all? It's Coffee tapping back in, man, and we got a major update in the whole Diddy situation. It's very complicated at the end of the day, man, because there's so many fucking accusers with Diddy. It's so much to break down. We'll get to that in just one moment, man. There's some real wild ish, so stay tuned for that. But before we jump all into this very complex, very in-depth Diddy update, we got a couple other stories to get to, man, and kicking it off, man, MILK74. You know Milk been having a blast cracking jokes at AD's expense, man. Comment with your guys' thoughts on that AD story, man. I don't know, you know, like it makes you wonder with the way he's capping like this if I don't think I'm buying. I don't know if y'all heard AD and OT Genesis calling into academic stream the whole story, what they're talking about, how like, yo, AD just like, you know, they only caught that brief clip and it didn't really go like that, you know. As I was talking about in my previous video about that, I mean, granted, it's a very short clip, yes, okay, but we still saw what we saw. We saw AD getting manhandled, and you know, of course he's gonna try to save face. He's gonna try to cover that up, or like no one, I mean, like, I don't know, I got no shame in my game. If I get aired out in a tussle, it is what it is. I've taken many a L in my day, and I've had a lot of W's too. I'm like 500, you know what I'm saying? Some cats, though, they can't never admit any of their shortcomings to the least bit, you know what I'm saying? And those are cats that are obsessed with image and all that. But nonetheless, you know, hearing what they had to say had a lot at play, in my opinion, with it all, because and help me out, y'all. Everyone, as always, comment, share your thoughts. That's how we rock over here. It's all about hearing from everyone out there, all the people. Make sure you subscribe, you hit the buttons. You know, I could be wrong, I'm no expert or none, right? But like AD in OT Genesis, we're talking about that they walked in and I don't know, like one security told them go ahead or something, and then someone just like another security guard got too aggressive with him, and AD just fired on dude, and you know what I'm saying, and like then security started tussling with him, and some other dude came in hooking off on him, and next thing you know, it went like what we saw when they went outside or whatever, and OT Genesis stepped in with the guillotine headlock, which that was a cold headlock, no question, man. But like Point and Shoot was pointing out in his video, like if his, like, why wasn't he popping off? Why was he letting that happen to AD like that? You know, I don't know. It's confusing, man. But it was wild. It was like clearly after it was all over with, and Genesis put that headlock on dude, you see security come in and separate dude, right? That was teeing off on OT, or I'm sorry, on AD. And I'm just not really buying that, right? Because if AD just fired on security the way he did, why in the fuck is security helping separate dudes that were getting at him like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. I don't know. It sounds a bit fishy. Y'all let me know what you think. But like, you're hooking off on security when they call themselves trying to do their job or whatever, and then security's helping you after. Like, I don't know. I ain't buying it. I mean, I understand security has to do what they got to do. Like, they can't let Ish go too far. But it wasn't like AD was half dead out here. I'm calling bull Ish on that story, man. And a lot of other cats is as well. But how about this, man? MILK74, on another note, is you guys remember Treyway 6K? You know what I'm saying? Him and Milk repping the same thing and all that. And they've always had to seem to have a pretty good rapport. And Treyway 6K was like really on the verge of blowing up. Him and that other dude, Young Threat, they had a lot of bangers together. Comment and let me know if y'all fucked with their music, what tracks you thought were dope and all that. But you see Milk got a picture of him behind the prison wall. He's on the main line, and you see Milk wants everyone to know he ain't on no SNY yard. I think I know who that's aimed at. Y'all remember who is actually locked up again right now. You know, now he's fighting Fed beef, but he did that bit before, and it came out that he was on a 50-50 yard, and that's C-Mac, man. So Treyway 6K Mainline in it. No 50-50 SNY-ish like C-Mac. Then we got 50 Cent and Ja Rule. It's always so comical when this beef is still going on, man. And you see Ja Rule was heartbroken when he got over there to the UK. He spent all this money out of pocket. He's turned up, ready to do this tour. You know what I'm saying? And I always got to put it out there, man. Ja Rule has some hits. Ja Rule wasn't totally trash, you know what I'm saying? But when the 50 Cent beef, after he signed with Shady, kicked off the way it did, all that was just erased, and he's just known as a total bozo. But I always still got to give him a little bit of love, a little bit of props. But you see the fans immediately were like, yo, 50 Cent is behind this. Anything, that's what I'm saying. That's how bad it is for Ja Rule, that anything unfortunate that happens in this dude's life and this beef that'll never end, everyone's like, yo, Fifth did it. Like, y'all remember there was that one concert where some years back, the tickets were wild cheap, and all these pictures started going viral where the venue was empty, and we found out 50 Cent bought all the tickets just so he would be performing in front of an empty stadium, man. That's crazy, you know? But in this situation, Fit's like, yo, this didn't have nothing to do with me. Don't put that on me. Cut it out, y'all. And Ja Rule is just heated. He's telling them, shut up, pussy, you know? I think Ja Rule would have just been better off ignoring this, because 50 Cent really didn't even go in like that. He just said, hey, this one wasn't on me, you know what I'm saying? And if you ask me what I think it is, probably, you guys know sometimes if you're a felon or within so many years you've been to prison or something like that, certain countries, it can get tricky for you. And if you guys recall, Ja Rule did that bid for the gun case in New York State prison time. So I would guess that's what it's about. I don't know, but I don't know. Ja Rule is tripping. Like, Ja, you made it more of an L. I mean, I feel him. He's probably just so mad. He's like, yo, I'm ready to tour again, get some money. Nope, you can't get in. And the internet just goes off mentioning 50 Cent. Ja Rule can't handle it, man. He's traumatized by 50 Cent for life. And then we got 50 Cent, man, in the club, surpassed 2 billion streams or something like that. That's pretty amazing, man. It's rated with, like, I think they're saying the highest or one of the highest hip-hop songs ever from the 2000s era. That's no surprise there, man. Again, you know, whenever 50 Cent, any of this comes up, man, you always gotta be like, yo, like, Fifth was that dude, man. And, you know, Eminem recognized it. Like, I've been taking notice of 50 Cent since How to Rob the Industry. He had a devoted fan base after that, after getting shot and everything. Like, his mixtapes were always making noise, and it was a genius move for Eminem to sign him. And when he did, man, like, the way they rolled that Get Rich or Die Trying Out was genius. And in the club, well, I guess I was going to say being the first single, but in reality, I guess Wanksta was considered the first single, although that track was really actually out before being down with Eminem, you know, but I don't know. It was a banger. They're both bangers. 50 Cent still making history. I'm hoping that 50 and Eminem album does drop. And then we got 50 Cent reacting to the news of Jam Master Jay. I did a video, I'll link it below, man, in depth about this. Everything you need to know, really, at the end of the day, about the trial, about the crime, about how it all went, about how the hip-hop legend was slanging dope when he got killed, man. It's a crazy story, a sad story, but obviously he had a lot to do with putting on 50 Cent. Like, Eminem put him on, you know, to the masses, but even getting into this hip-hop-ish, Jam Master Jay had a lot to do with it. We talk about that in the video as well, and you see 50 Cent just says, well, that's all, folks. Keeps it short and simple, to the point. His loved one who was killed right when his fame was jumping off, man. You know, these dudes, all these years later, they came through with the cold case and arrested him. And it's so crazy, man. Like, it was literally right when Fifth was starting to blow up. You know, like, there's those stupid ass blood sacrifice videos. I can't stand those videos, man. Anyone who knows anyone who passed away, they're like, oh, that's a blood sacrifice. That's how they got on and stuff, you know. So they do those about 50 Cent with Jam Master Jay. But let's get to this Diddy-ish right now.
Yesterday afternoon, we broke a big story on the website. Diddy has been sued by a man who worked for him, claiming that Diddy had repeatedly sexually assaulted him. That is just the beginning of a lawsuit filled with salacious details. Charles, before we even get into it, we should say there are red flags on this lawsuit that something isn't right.
Right. But first let's start with what Rodney is alleging in the suit, which is that, as you said, not only Diddy repeatedly sexually harassed and assaulted him, but that there were associates around Diddy who were also involved in this. He names in the lawsuit, they are defendants in the lawsuit, Stevie J, longtime producer for Bad Boy and obviously very famous for Love and Hip Hop.
His son.
And then also Justin Combs, Diddy's son. He alleges that he was involved in bringing in human trafficking, essentially, he says, and that some of the people that he was bringing for these sex parties were underage.
But as for Rodney, what he is alleging, among so many other things, some of which we're not going to talk about on television, but he is alleging groping, fondling, grooming, and you know, he goes on and on about going to a party where he says he was drugged and allegedly raped, or at least that's the insinuation from the lawsuit for sure. And it goes on and on and on. But he says he has receipts in this lawsuit, and one of the receipts is an image. Again, we're not going to show you this, but it's an image of a sexual act.
Right. He says in the lawsuit that it is Stevie J having sex with a man and he says that he got that image because Diddy sent it to him as a way to say, look, this is what we do and you should join us in this. You know, this is what Stevie J does. It's what I do and you should join us in this. That's how he describes this image. And it's in the lawsuit. We're not showing it to you, but what's interesting is that there are other places on the internet that it was published, that photo. And someone has come forward today and says that image is not Stevie J. The person says
it's a male porn star.
Right, who goes by the name Knockout, and he posted a much clearer photo of the same image and says you can tell in the clear image, because the one in the lawsuit is very blurry, and he says this is me. It's Knockout. He says it is not Stevie J.
That's right. So Knockout is retweeting and reposting people who are saying this image has been circulating online for years, and for years it has been attempted to be pinned on Stevie J, when in reality it's Knockout. It's from a porno website, and he owns it. He's like, yeah, I'm a gay porn star. This is me. It's not Stevie J. Makes no bones about it. And he seems upset by the fact that he's been sort of roped into this lawsuit somewhat salaciously.
So Rodney Jones worked for Diddy, I believe, as a videographer.
Although he says he was hired as a producer. It sounds, the way he describes it in the lawsuit is he was hired to be a producer on the Love album, and ended up also doing videography, that he would have his phone out at all times recording videos and photos for Diddy.
And so a couple of weeks ago, before he filed this lawsuit, he clearly had beef with Diddy. But the beef he mentioned isn't about these sexual indiscretions. The beef has to do apparently with money. And he actually started a GoFundMe. He put on his Instagram this video, and this is what he said again, just a few weeks ago.
I apologize to anyone this video may be embarrassing to. Let's just jump right into it. Some of you may know me or may not. I'm a music producer who's a writer and musician. Different genres. I started in the gospel and jazz and R&B and worked my way over to the hip hop side. I've been working on an album. I took a year off straight working on this album. That album is the Love album, Off the Grid by Diddy. And it's Grammy nominated right now as we speak. I should be celebrating, but the truth is I'm not. Taking this album on has required so much time, months and at a time, 16 hours, 24 hours a day. Sometimes, Diddy would request certain works to be done and tell us don't go to sleep until it's done. And the truth is we'll be up for days trying to accomplish that. I've tried to get my business straight with them on this album, but the truth is they're not playing fair. They hit me on below the belt on so many situations, just dealing with this. The contract that they gave me and the offer that they gave me was just disgusting. The producer fee, pennies, and on top of that, these guys are trying to steal my publishing. I can't go for that, so I'm fighting back. He's a fighter, but I'm going to put in this fight. I got to do it for myself, my rights, and most importantly, my kids. Taking my publishing or stealing it is just. I'm not going to let that happen. Not going to let that happen. Again, this is one of those projects that took so much time from me. I missed holidays with my family, just out working on this album. At one point, I was running around with the hard drives, the computer, just to run the ball on this album, to finish the production on it, make sure that this album came to a good project with good vibes, just where it is right now. And just to be offered little to no participation in this is highly disrespectful. I won't be that guy 20, 30 years from now looking back saying, I wish I'd done this. I want to do this now. Doing this situation is not easy. Taking Puff to court, suing him is not easy. I don't have the monies that it's going to take to fight him in court. So I'm just asking, if you're in support, please. The link is in my bio to my GoFundMe. The money we go towards my attorney fees, and to just make sure I'm keeping my head above water during the process. I really appreciate this. Thank you so much.
So he posted that video.
And by the way, after Cassie filed her lawsuit.
Right, and we should say, so the GoFundMe he posted the GoFundMe, it was active, and then he posted, just a couple of days later, he posted a second video, and clearly at least wants people to think that he is in fear for his life.
Until further notice, I would not be performing at any gigs or anything like that. For security reasons, my family, friends, and everyone close to me just feels like there's a lot of potential threats, and everybody's just telling me what he's allegedly capable of. And, it's very scary for myself, and it has me worried about my kids, and just sleeping with anxiety and different things like that. So just moving forward, just gonna pause on everything until we know that it's clear and safe for me to come back outside of work.
So he has filed this lawsuit. Now, Diddy's people gave us a statement, and they strongly deny what happened. They also point to one of the incidents that we should talk about first, an incident involving a gun that's in the lawsuit that they say does not align with the facts.
Right. The incident he's referring to is a shooting that happened in LA, in Hollywood, outside of a recording studio where Diddy was working. This happened in 2022. Now, according to Rodney, what he says in this lawsuit is that he witnessed Diddy and his son Justin go into a room, I believe it was a bathroom, with a third person. Right. There was an argument going on that he could hear, and then he heard a gunshot. When the door opened, he says that Diddy and Justin walked out, and he walked in and saw that there was a man laying on the ground who'd been shot in the leg.
I think the stomach.
Yes. He said, you're right, it was the abdomen. And he says he went to go tend to that guy. Now, that shooting was reported. It was something that was reported here in LA, except the way it was reported is that someone was shot outside of the studio, either a robbery or a drive-by, yeah. And that the victim then ran into the studio, and that's how they ended up in there. So a much different story from what Rodney is saying, but Rodney also says in the lawsuit that Diddy paid people off to say that's what happened.
Right. So he says that Diddy actually confronted Rodney right there on the spot and said, what your job when the cops ask is to say this was a drive-by and not tell them what actually happened in this bathroom. It's an ultimate, he said, going back to the videos that Rodney has put up and the request for GoFundMe money, and the rest. It's a really bad fact for Rodney. It makes him look like he's out for money. That said, of course, Harvey,
well, he is out for money. We know that. I mean, he's filed the $30 million lawsuit.
Jason's talking about motivation.
But you know, it's two things at play here, right? It definitely questioned his motivation when he put something like that out. At the same time, it doesn't mean that everything he's saying isn't true, but the way that would track with a jury is very difficult for Rodney, I think.
All right, man, so there you have it. Wild update here, and this is going to go a long way to help Diddy to clear his name with the public, at least, right? The public image, being that the image and idea everyone had was that Diddy did all that weird-ish with all the weird things, weird and disturbing-ish. It ain't just weird, it's weird, disturbing, wicked. Y'all know what it is, right? As all the rumors and stuff and certain things we had heard about Diddy from people that were around him, and, you know, then Cassie comes forth with this and he settles immediately to keep it out of the news, right? And it gets to the news anyways, and it just was like, why would he settle for all that? Well, a bunch of other lawsuits came forth, and this dude Lil Rod, one of them being a male, okay, this definitely caught the headlines, and it's just wild because you see, first off, right away when I seen the video that he was talking about here, you know, coming forth asking for money, the GoFundMe and all that, there was a lot of ish pointing out like, yo, he didn't mention anything about being assaulted at this point in time. Now, I seen that and said, well, you know what? That don't mean that is cap. Maybe he just didn't want to get into that part of the story, or he wanted to just keep it private. He's ashamed of some of it, or whatever the case may be. He just wanted to, you know, ask for help with his legal fees and all that. But then we get all this, and like, this issue is all confirmed. The TMZ dudes here are not capping for Diddy. Okay, that thing they were talking about with the GAY porn star and dude posting a pic of Stevie J, some old rumored ish over the years, that's facts. You can go on Twitter. Pause. I didn't go all like comparing the pics or nothing, but there ain't much you got to do as far as looking into that to see that this has been a rumor about Stevie J for years, and this GAY adult star, pause, confirms it's him. And you know, it's like, what kind of issues that you're gonna come forth with the lawsuit and like use some bullish internet rumor type stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, you thought that was gonna work, B? What's the matter with you? You know what I'm saying? And then you see he has the pictures with Cuba Gooding Jr. He has some other pictures with Diddy and you know, his son Justin and everything, and he's like, yo, look, that's an underage girl, they're getting together, getting active or whatever. Cuba Gooding Jr. and Lil Rod here chilling, that's him being forcibly touched. And it's just wild, man. Like, a lot of this ish is cap, and it really does seem like everything they're saying is a big cash grab payday or whatever. Like, I don't know, you know, like it makes you wonder with the way he's capping like this, if, you know, some of his claims about the money from the beginning were even true. And what I'm basically getting at is, this lawsuit ain't going nowhere. This dude ain't gonna win ish. He might end up with countersuits against him, as you see Stevie J is furious, Diddy's son is furious, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's proven already, like, by internet people, that this is cap. You know what I'm saying? So he's probably gonna end up with some defamation suits coming back at him, where he's gonna end up with all these judgments. And then on top of this, for the public image, I'm saying, like, each of these other accusers, when they go to court, their case is going to be what their case is. But what I'm saying, for public opinion and all that, which has a lot that leaks into every facet of every court case in some way, it's a whole process and everything that is a lot to break down. I'm not going to get into it, but my point is dude capping like this has hurt for the other accusers that, you know, are coming with these allegations against Diddy, because it's going to make them look like they're just capping for a cash grab. You know what I'm saying? Like, granted, the other individuals are female, and he's a dude, so that's something in a sense that can separate them from him, you know, but it still in a way hurts all the accusers' claims in their court battles that they're gonna get into, man. But at the end of the day, this dude takes a massive L. This is a W for Diddy, and this somewhat helps Diddy clean up his image, you know what I'm saying? So comment, let me know what you think about it all. Are you still like, yo, Diddy, he's a weirdo coffee, or like, you know, I don't care if he didn't do this, if this dude was on some fluckery trying to scam essentially? Or are you looking at this like, yo, maybe a lot of other individuals are on some bullish too? Maybe he just wanted to settle with Cassie to spare himself, you know, the public humiliation that would happen? Or are you like, nah, coffee, I still believe it all, this dude is just a scumbag? But you know, whatever you believe, your take, again, please comment, as well as on all these other topics on this video. Let's talk about it. But do you agree that this dude fucked it up for the other accusers in their battle with Diddy? Let's talk about it all. God bless y'all. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I will catch you guys on the next one. This is J Coffee Talk, where we talk music, news, sports, current events, life, and much more. And I'm out of here, y'all. Peace. Hell, you heard that guy in the beginning, what's his name, Ross Tucker, giving his take on the game. There was 3 minutes left in the game, and he was giving this breakdown. And I mean, it was just all bad. It's not even like it was close. You see the score. It was a blowout. The Eagles go out in blowout fashion to Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers, and Baker looks like Steve Young out there. Insane. And you see there's a little shot getting sent at Browns fans as well, as they had that late resurgence with Joe Flacco coming back in with all them injuries. But, you know, the Browns lost, and you see the stat that stands since 95. Browns, 1 Super Bowl win, Baker Mayfield 2, and he got the Browns at 1. Baker, the Baker boys, the Baker fan base is loving it right now, man. You know I'm a diehard Bills fan. Josh Allen's my guy, and he was clearly the better quarterback, even though no one wanted to believe it. But good for Baker having this success. And speaking of Josh Allen and my Bills, it's very interesting with the Bills, the struggles we had and the way we turned it around. The Eagles doing pretty much the opposite and in even more dramatic fashion. That game where we played, how many weeks ago? I forget. But where the Eagles beat us in overtime, that was kind of the point in time where both franchises were having their shift. You know what I'm saying? The Bills, we dropped our offensive coordinator and got back at it. Even though we lost that game, we took what was the best team in the league at that time to the brink, had them on the ropes and everything, and honestly really should have beat them. We got boned with some calls or whatever. It is what it is. But after that, the Eagles just dropped game after game. What did they win 1 game after that? I think I don't even know. I can't call it. I can't quite understand what happened with the Eagles. Anyone out there, please comment and let me know. Make sure to like the video and subscribe as well. But with the Buccaneers getting this win, they go on to face the Lions. Eminem, that was pretty funny. Matthew Stafford, let us get this one. But they knocked off the Rams, and that was a very emotional moment, I know, for Lions fans as well. Good for them. I'm glad to see them having the success they've had, winning the division, winning a playoff game in the first time in forever, damn near. Should be an interesting game, man. I mean, hey, they actually came very, very close to being the number 1 seed without that. We're talking about bad calls. My Bills, the Eagles. Bills, we got screwed on a turnover today, too. A takeaway that they took back from us and gave back to the Steelers, but it still couldn't save them. But that 2-point conversion fiasco with the ineligible guy, Diddy report and all that, the Lions should have won that game, but it is what it is. Big game, Rams, Lions, who you got? Get in the comments. The Eagles, all this. Let's talk about it all. Subscribe and stay tuned for more. It's Coffee. I'm out of here. Peace. But yeah, Donna, you were smart. You didn't even get your hopes up. This is so crazy for a team to start out 10-1, and then when the playoff time comes around, their devout fan base doesn't even have one bit of optimism that the team can win. What happened? What the fuck happened?